So we're getting right into the brain rot with this one, as the community manager for Compulsion Games has been going absolutely insane over on Twitter. Describes herself also as a DEI consultant. And I saw this over on a tweet from Seal where he says, Compulsion Games hates gamers and seeks to quote-unquote rewrite history as hard as they want to redefine racism. They know where to shove their mandatory DEI Sweet Baby Inc. game. If highlighting their own words makes me anti-woke, oh no, lol. And Seal going on to provide a number of screenshots of this very upset, bizarre community manager person. Let's start with the screenshot that he posted of her bio that reads, she/her, bi/panfem, history alum, WO Changemaker, DI Consult, and CM. Maybe the WO part got cut off, not sure. Then it says at Compulsion Games, at Twitch, at Logitech, and social media influencer. Interestingly enough, if I go to her bio now, it reads, liberate, she/her, bi/pan, history alum, Twitch and Logitech partner, CM at Compulsion Games, and views equal my own. Lastly, we can also see that she's in protected mode. Okay, and now that we've seen that, let's take a look at some of the tweets that Seal's talking about, where this person says, honestly, I hate gamers, trademark. The next one saying, the sheer level of scum-sucking filth that permeates the gaming community is abhorrent. I'm disgusted to even share an interest with so many terrible people. She then responds to her own tweet there with a quote tweet that reads, we also need to be very honest about the elephant in the room. The majority of the perpetrators are white/white adjacent cis-het men. I gotta ask, what the frick is wrong with y'all? Okay, so first of all, anyone using the terminology white adjacent is probably two things. One, extremely racist, and two, also having an extreme victim mentality. In other words, one of the last sort of people you'd ever want to know, let alone put in a CM position. And yet, apparently, Compulsion Games thinks this is the perfect person for the job. I also love how loosely she's using the term perpetrator here. She's like talking about like your average gamer, and she's like, the perpetrators. And for the record, I think this CM was actually in the news a few months back. Maybe it was for these tweets or maybe something else. I don't recall exactly what it was. Or maybe I'm confusing her with someone else. You know how these sort of people are, always raging online and acting identical to each other. It starts to get hard to differentiate between them. Looking in the responses, and actually it does seem like this person was in the news a while back, yeah. John F. Trent saying, gamers, don't forget, and showing a headline here from an article that he wrote titled, Compulsion Games CM, reportedly quote-unquote protected, despite declaring hatred of gamers and claiming, quote, white male gamers were a mistake, unquote. We're not done with the screenshots that Seal provided yet either, as he included this one that also has Compulsion Games Twitter account. A tweet from them reading, many video games are a product of the times they were created in, as we look to recreate and remaster these stories for modern audiences. They're unironically using that term. There you go. It's important to consider the implications of these harmful portrayals and do our part to rewrite new history, not repeat it. Notice how he underlines that and says edited. On the top screenshot, we can see that they had apparently previously said, and do our part to rewrite history. Obviously, this is an insane thing to say, and the edit itself doesn't even make it better. That just makes it seem more deceptive, because at least saying they want to rewrite history is on the nose. Like, it's a terrible thing to say, obviously, and do, but it's on the nose, right? But saying rewrite new history, that seems like they're saying the same thing, but they're trying to, like, not be as on the nose about it. Like, oh, we're phrasing it differently. It's okay, guys, if we phrase it like this. No, it's not. What's the matter with these people? Bunch of lunatics. And just to be sure everyone understands what I'm saying with the edited thing, that doesn't mean Seal edited the tweet or anything like that. Twitter does have a function where you can edit their tweets, so presumably Seal is saying that Compulsion Games edited their tweet, changing rewrite history to rewrite new history. Probably everyone gets the point, just wanted to be sure. And lastly, over on the right, we can see Seal says, Compulsion and Sweet Baby Inc. proudly proclaiming their prioritization of the mythical modern audience. And we can see on SBI's website, they did apparently list Compulsion Games as a client. Of course, that being before they hid their clients list. And then we've got that screenshot of South of Midnight, an upcoming Compulsion Games game, which seemingly they've been working with SBI on. Once again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Why are people like this even in the gaming space? They clearly seem to hate gamers and gaming and all that stuff, but hey, we're gonna make video games. I can only presume a lot of this is also because they seek to just use DI as a way of securing ESG funding and like taking a lot of that funding for their own personal paychecks, like stuff in their pockets. Bunch of swindly, deceptive people, once again, in my opinion. And of course, these are also the sort of people to call other people grifters. What's that saying about projection? Yeah, that would probably apply here. Go figure that Compulsion Games is also located in Montreal, which is where Sweet Baby Inc. is also located, as well as many other DEI consultancy firms, which also makes what I said earlier about these sort of groups using gaming and DEI and ESG policies trying to secure government funding even more probable. Oh, and of course, when you point this stuff out, they'll probably also label you alt-right or far-right or a chud or any of that stuff. You know how it is. Can't dare criticize corporations and the government. That's a big no-no for these types. I'm sure I could have phrased that all better, by the way. I think I repeated some of the words too much listening back on the audio as I record this. But thank you all for understanding when I'm dealing with this much brain rot. Sometimes it's, sometimes I'm doing my best to not let it also affect me, right? Continuing. And speaking of brain rot, oh, do I got something special for you. So I was looking up some gameplay of this game South of Midnight, and I just so happened to be fortunate enough to stumble upon a video that was released today. And in this video that I stumbled upon, this guy is very upset at people criticizing Compulsion Games and attempts to defend them. In his video, he talks about not wanting to name specific people, and I'm not going to name him either, as this ain't like a call-out video about this guy. It's just something to play at the end, because I'm sure you guys are going to find this very amusing. So let's play a very brief portion of this guy's video where he's attempting to defend Compulsion Games over some official gameplay of South of Midnight, and you'll quickly see why this take is really, really bad. If the person who made this take by any chance ends up finding this video, surely you've seen what we went over already, in which case you'll surely understand why it's a bad take. And continuing, here we go.
There are some real pieces of shit out there, pardon the French, folks, that have taken this particular game and are trying to run it through the mud with the DEI stuff. That, and look, I'm sorry to tell you, folks, none of that exists. It's a female protagonist. Yes. She's African American. Yes. She's from the Deep South. Okay. Nothing wrong here, folks. I don't understand how people have tried to demonize Compulsion Games and the story that they're trying to tell. It blows my mind. And shout out to the Black Viking, who consistently not only points out these terrible humans by quoting their stuff and putting it out for everyone to see how stupid some of these people actually are, but some of them are actual journalists. And I'm like, my God, what a small-minded POS.
Okay, so yeah, the issue is not that she's black and from the South. That's not a problem. The problem is that Compulsion Games has a community manager who claims to be a DI consultant who's going and making very disparaging, bigoted remarks about people, who's probably an extreme racist, and how Compulsion Games has also been working with Sweet Baby Inc. And also talks about, rewriting history and all that nonsense. These are all things that are very much DI related. And trying to say that there's nothing DI involved, man, that's a crazy take. Hopefully this person was simply not informed on these things and he'll make better takes in the future. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Consider liking and or subscribing if you enjoyed the coverage. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.